Hey everybody, Marcia from Be So Creative. It is Tuesday, it is 2 o'clock, and it is time for, yes, tips and tricks with the folks from Be So Creative. So today I wanted to let you all know that we have one of our favorite folks here at the store, and I know that many of you know who Marco is. He is one of our repair guys, but he is also our go-to fella for, what do we want to call this, Marco? Media stuff. The thing is that Marco has done media for the church he attends for how many years, Marco? Forever? 5 years. 5 years Marco has done all of this stuff. And so he is our go-to when we get something that we're not sure how it works. And when things get kind of funky and weird, then we get real excited, and we're not just walking in there, we're running and saying, Marco, help, it's not working. So anyway, today Marco is going to be the one on our tips and tricks, and he is going to show you all how to update your firmware. Did I say that correctly, Marco? Okay, so this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to hand him the microphone, and Marco, please let everybody see you.
Yes.
So that everybody will know who you are and what you look like. So there's,
Here, I'm going to go.
Yeah, there. There we go. Okay.
All right. Can you guys hear me? I was bringing up the Facebook real quick to see if you guys had any questions. Doesn't look like you guys have any so far, which is good. Cool.
Marco,
All right.
Turn it over to you.
Oh, it says it's been paused. Okay, there we go. All right, can everyone hear me good? If you can, just tell me yeah or good. That'll be fine. Yeah, thumbs up, an emoji, whatever. So what I'm going to be doing today is teaching you how to update your firmware on your machine, no matter if you have a Baby Lock or Bernina. I know there's other models that also do update their firmware, like Vikings and other machines like that. But I'm only going to be showing their Bernina and Baby Lock models today. So, one second, I'm going to switch over to my screen here. So the first thing we're going to do is open up a browser of our preference, and let's go to the Bernina one first. So if you're following along or if you want to take notes, we're just going to go to bernina.com. And once you're there, you want to scroll all the way to the bottom. And there's 3 sections here. There's Why Bernina, Feedback and Service, and Company. Under the Feedback and Service, you're going to see manuals and firmware downloads. You want to click there. And here it'll show all the models that Bernina has, and some models they'll be listed on here, but they might not have any firmware that adheres to it. It's a lot of the newer ones will do firmware updates. Some of the older machines will as well, but some will not be able to update their firmware. And you'll be able to tell that based off of when you click your machine. It'll either give you just a manual download or a firmware download as well. So let's go to like the Activa 125, and you can see here they only have the user manual for that machine because it doesn't have an updated, you can't update the firmware on it. So go back one. So depending on what machine you have, you want to click your machine. So let's say I'm working with the Bernina 780. I'm going to click here. And for here, there's going to come up the user manual, the firmware update instructions. So this will actually tell you if you forget any of these steps, Bernina has download instructions for you so that you can follow along easily and do it yourself. The firmware you're going to want to download is right here. It's should have a zip, says in caps ZIP for zip file. You want to download this one here, and this is going to be for any of them. You want to download it, so you just click that to download it, and after it's done downloading, I'm not sure if our audience knows how to extract zip files, but if you don't have a software on your computer that can do that, then you would have to install one. I recommend WinRAR. It's free and it gives you all the capabilities of opening and making your own zip files and things like that. So I'm going to just wait for this one to download. But if we open up the download instructions, you'll see it'll tell you how to format a USB and how to download it and how to extract it into the USB. So I'm going to go over these steps with you today, and then we'll move over to the baby lock one as well. While I'm doing this, waiting for it to download, I'm going to see if you guys have any questions. It says I keep breaking up. I don't know if that's just my internet. Video stop. Not sure. Let's see. Is it good now? Can you guys see me, hear me? All right. Is it better? I still see it blinking. That's not a good sign. We might have to just truck along here. All right, so after we have it downloaded, I'm going to show you how to format a USB. Oh, actually, Sharon, that's something I need. Can I have a USB, please? A USB? Yeah, any kind. I'll show you how to format the USB. So you have to format the USB in order for the machine to read it. If you do not, and you just put the firmware on the USB without formatting it, it could have trouble reading the USB. So if you do this every time before you put in a new firmware, you should be fine.
And you can wipe everything out.
Yeah, and you can, the format, so the format, what it'll do is actually delete everything on the USB. So make sure it's a USB that you don't have a lot of save files on and stuff like that. If you want to just get a blank one that's about 2 gigabytes, even 4 gigabytes would probably be better. That would be enough to hold the firmware, and then you could just use it as that. So I'm going to plug it in real quick. Let's see. All right. So it is plugged in. I'm going to get rid of everything in this USB. Okie doke. So once you plug in your USB, you want to open up your File Explorer. And then you're going to open up your USB, click it here on the side, and then you want to right click it and you'll see a whole list of options come up, and you want to format. So there's a couple way to format it. The way you want to do it is pick, I believe it's FAT32, correct? So yeah, FAT32. And that should be the only option you have to change. I would leave it on the quick format option. The only time you'd want to unclick the quick format is if you had a corrupted USB or something of that nature, but you just want to leave that on. Hit start, hit OK, and that little message was telling you that it was going to delete all your stuff. So if you that's your last chance right there if you want to save anything. And then after that, you're good to go. Sorry, excuse me. So now we're going to go to our download. And is my voice breaking up, or is it just the video? Okay, cool. All right, so let's go to our download over here. It should just usually go to your downloads folder, if you know where that is, or if you after it downloads, if you just click it, this little arrow here, and then you hit show in folder, it'll take you to it. So now that I see it, I want to right click that folder, the firmware, and it'll say firmware Bernina, and then it'll have the model of your machine and then the model of the update. Oh, sorry. I don't know what's, there we go. So we're going to hit extract all here, and then you want to browse for your USB for the destination to put it in. So you just click the USB here on the left hand side, hit select folder, extract, and I'm just waiting for this now. And depending on your machine, it may take longer or slower, or I mean, it might be faster or slower, just depends on your operating system and the hardware you have, things like that. Mine took about maybe 30 seconds, and that's as much as the average time should probably take to download it. If it does stop, you can always just exit out and try again. Again, you would probably want to just reformat your USB just in case there's any files left on there that weren't able to be scrubbed. So now you can see that it's on the USB, and that's all you need for now. And then we want to go back to USB and open it. Sorry, I'm making sure everything's running smoothly on the computer. And here it'll ask you where you want to extract this, and you want to extract it back into the USB again. And I'm just doing this so I know where my application is and everything. There we go. Hit unzip. So after this finishes here, then we'll be able to remove the application from the USB. If you leave it on there, it could be likely that the machine won't read the files it needs to read, which is these .bin files here. Give it 1 second. Come on, you got this. There we go. Hit OK. And we can close that. So you want to leave all these bin files in the USB, and you can remove the application, the one that says application. It's the one that we use to get these 4 files in here. And that should be it. Now you have a USB for a 780, and later we'll go through how to I think most of you guys should know how to get to your update screen. If you do not, just let me know in the comments and I can work with you. But on the Berninas, on most of the new ones, you just go to the little gear icon, and then you go to, I believe there's a little machine icon after that, and then there'll be an update icon in the next screen after that. And then from there you would just plug in your USB and hit a button to start the firmware update, and that's all you would need. Let me check. So now let's go to where we can find the baby lock updates. So now we're going to go to babylock.com. Yeah, I'm showing this. Cool. And from here, we're going to go to support. And then here you can go to, there's 3 options here. There's machine support, software updates, and FAQs. But you want machine support. Software updates is a little bit different on the baby lock. It's for more applications with different designs and things like that. So here it'll show you your the picture of the machine, and it'll have the model listed here under name. So we're going to go with, let's say, a Crescendo. So we're going to go to Get Downloads. And here it'll show you all the manuals and instructions here on the right hand side. And on the left hand side it has a update version and then the information and instructions, just like the Bernina. If you ever if you forget these steps later, there'll be a lot more probably detailed and in depth here, and have some of them have some screenshots for you, so that you can also follow along just as you are here. As you can see there. But if you're following along with me, then you can do it here. So we're going to hit download here. So I believe it's the same here, where we go to find our downloads, and this one's .upf, and that one is specific to the baby lock update. Okay, so maybe, okay, let's go through this one just real quick. Just make sure I'm doing this correctly. Yeah, so on the baby lock it's the same way, correct? Exactly. Where you just format it and just pull that new .upf. Right. Okay, yep. So exactly. This will be, yeah, the way I thought. So after you download this .upf file, you'll be doing the same steps as we just did to get the files on, except there'll be a little bit less steps because this one you don't have to run that extra application to extract the files into the USB. All you're going to be doing is formatting the USB. So let's do that again. I'm going to just format this one here. Make sure it says FAT32. Hit start. It'll erase everything. Yes. Hit OK. And now all we need is just to pull this file that we have straight into the USB. So let's go here. So just like this. Here's my file and downloads. I'm going to drag it over to my USB. And on this one, that's all you should have to do on this one, is just format it, drag in that file, and you're good. This one will only have that one file for the update. And that's it. So, and then you can always, if you just want to be safe, you can always right-click here at the bottom of your screen, next to your time and your volume and all that. You want to click the arrow and then eject to your USB. There's a little picture of USB, eject mass storage, and that'll allow me to remove the USB safely without hurting any files. Okie doke. Is there any questions so far? Maybe if you're wondering if your machine has an update, or if you need a bit more clarification about how to get it onto the machine more specifically. So I know on the baby lock, and let me pull my face up now. I know on the baby lock, as far as, so I've done this on the Solaris so far. I'm not sure if it's the same for every machine. But like I said, in those in those instructions of how to put it into the USB and everything that come from them, it will probably give you the buttons to press to manually start your firmware. On the Solaris, I believe it's just the needle threading button. You just hold the needle thread button while you're turning it on, and it'll go into a firmware update screen. And that's when you want to plug in USB, and there's two options. One will be telling you to take files from the USB to the machine, and the other way around, from the machine to the USB. Did I say that right? Okay, cool. So, any more questions so far? I'm still looking at our comments here. If you guys have, see, the update file must be... Yes, so on the baby lock, yeah, it's just like the other one. You want to make sure the files that you're using to update are the only files on the USB. If there's any other files on the USB, it could make it so that the machine doesn't read it correctly. So make sure that that's all you have on the USB. So like I said, it's better if you get a blank one, but if you have a small one lying around that you can move your stuff off on the computer, you can use it that way. So, but just remember, whenever you format, it will get rid of everything on the USB. So you have to be paying attention to that. Any other questions? Nope. All right, well, I think that does it for me if no one has any more questions. And like I said, if you do forget the steps, both on the Bernina and the Baby Lock, they do have the steps, and it has a lot of screenshots, and it'll go step by step with you if you need a little bit more in-depth tutorial on how to do it. I was just one to show you where to find the firmware in the first place, because some people don't even know where to start there, and then whether or not their machine can be updated. So I know on the Bernina one, it doesn't tell you right away. You'll have to click on your model, and if it has a firmware update in the left-hand side, then it can. If it only has the user manual, then the chances that it doesn't have a firmware update for it. All right. Hold on, I got some more. When you update, will it delete saved designs on the machine? Okay, so Sharon's here, and so whenever you update your machine, it should not delete saved designs on the machine. It should just leave everything the same. I know on the Bernina, if it's a couple of versions back on your firmware and you update it, it won't delete any designs, but it will change your background and it would change your welcome message as well. So more of the aesthetic stuff, not your designs or anything like that. All right. All right, guys. Well, I think that's gonna do it. If you have any more questions, you can always come into the store and ask us here. And also, this will be available to watch on Facebook. I had to stop the YouTube because of the weather, but we'll be uploading it back to YouTube after I'm done here. So, yeah, so you guys know how to manually update your